Hello guys, welcome back to World Mechanics. Today we're going to show you how to replace the spark plugs and ignition coils on a Ford Escape, the 3.0 engine, or a Mercury Mariner right here. It's the same engine, and for Taurus I think they have the same engine as well, the 2.5, 3.0, it's the same procedure. So what we need to do, as you can see, we can get to the front ones pretty easy. You can remove them with 8mm socket, but the rear ones are the ones that are not easy to access. In order to do that, we need to remove the intake, right here, the upper intake. So stay with us to see how we're going to do that. The first thing that you need to do is get that clamp loose right there and remove the intake hose from the airbox right there. Next we need to remove the wire right here from the idler motor and this one right here. Again, you just press down like that on the front side and pull. And we need to remove that wiring harness right here from the bolt because it's attached to the intake. And then one more wire right there, that's for the throttle position sensor, and this is the vacuum hose from the intake. You just pull it up like that. Okay, next, this hose right there, you need to push that green piece down and then just pull the hose and it comes out of the intake. We'll need to remove the throttle cable and the cruise control cable right here so we can remove the upper intake, and in order to do that you need to use an 8mm socket and remove that bolt from the cover right here so we can access the cables. Okay, and there is one more on the front right there, again with 8mm socket. Okay, we're done removing the second bolt on that plastic cover right there. So what we need to do now to unhook the cables. Now right here, this is the cruise control cable. You just push down, and this one you need to open the throttle all the way, go around it and just pull the cable out of there. And now, in order not to be attached to the intake, we need to remove these two bolts for this bracket and this one there, all three of them with the same 8mm socket or wrench. We remove the three bolts, and now you can just pull the cables on the side and not be in the way. Okay, now the throttle body right here, it's connected to the upper intake, as you can see, and that's a water line right here. So if we can unhook the water line, but then we need to bleed the system and add coolant and all kind of stuff, so we're not going to do that. What we're going to do is we need to remove the throttle body from the upper intake. That way we don't need to remove any water lines. And we're going to open the airbox now and remove the mass airflow sensor connector right here and just pull the box, okay, the lid actually right there, so we can access all the bolts for the throttle body. You can remove that hose too if you don't want it to be in the way, just one extra clamp. And this is the throttle body right here, and now we can access, it has 4 bolts with 10mm socket this time. One of the bolts on the bottom, it has a wire that attaches to it, so like a wire guide, plastic one, so you need to get it out of there, okay, with just a screwdriver. And now all we need to do is just remove all 4 of them. We removed all 4 bolts, and now you can see the throttle body just comes right here on the side. Always inspect this gasket because sometimes they tend to get bad and you start leaking air and you will affect the way the car is running too. So now what we need to do, we need to remove, this one is for the gas circulation, the exhaust gas. We need to remove these 2 bolts with 8mm, one there and one there, so we can unhook it from the intake. We took the bolts off, and now this is right there. We need to push it to the back Now right here there is two more bolts, one here and one there. Hard to show you this one. We need to remove it because it's holding the bracket for all these wires, the wiring harness right there. So again, with the 8mm socket you need to remove these two nuts with 10mm socket actually. Okay, we removed the nuts right here, and now you can just pull it on the side so it's not holding the wiring harness anymore. And right there we have more wires that you just need to push out of the hose with just a flathead screwdriver and one more underneath it. Okay, now we need to remove that hose right there. There is one clamp, so you need to get the clamp loose and then just push the hole out of there. It's pretty good tight fit, but it comes out. And on the bottom there is one more vacuum hose that you just push out of there. And don't forget to put those together when you're putting everything together, because you have a vacuum leak. Okay, now we have 8 bolts that we need to remove for the intake. Okay, right there, 1, 2, 3, 4 there, and 4 on the front. This one, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Do not remove this one. This one is holding the lower intake, not the upper intake. So we just leave this one there. When you get them loose, you don't just pull them out all the way. You just make sure that they're loose like that. You cannot even pull them out. They're made to where you cannot just drop them. We got all bolts loose, and now all you need to do is just pull it out. You need to push the emissions right there that circulates, and you just pull it to the side like that. Okay, and if you want, you can remove it from right here, but those bolts sometimes they tend to break because they rust too much from the heat. And now there is one hose that it's hard to reach before you remove the intake. This one right there, that's in front of the throttle body. So you just remove the clamp and push the hose out. But do not forget to put this one on, because it's hard to put the clamp on without removing the upper intake. Now, very important thing is to cover the lower intake hose, because if you drop something, it's going to go all the way to the valves. So you need to cover the intake hose right there, or just put paper like a shop towel inside of them, but don't push them all the way in, so you can just remove them. Okay, now as you can see, we can reach the ignition coils on the back and the spark plugs underneath them, and the front as well. So it's the same procedure for front and back now. So what you need to do with 8mm socket, you need to remove the nut right there, well, it's actually the bolt for the ignition coil, like that. And after you remove the bolt, we need to remove the wires from the ignition coil. So you need to, or you can actually pull it up with the wires if you are not replacing the ignition coil. But if you are, all you need to do is just press right here and release the ignition coil. Okay, we removed all the coils now, and now we're going to proceed to the spark plugs. So what you need to do is you need to use 5/8 socket with extension so you can reach the spark plugs. Okay, right there, they're pretty deep, and just get it off. Those have not been removed. It's a first owner vehicle, and they said that they never replace the spark plugs, and it has 154,000 miles on it. So we're going to inspect and see what a 150,000 miles spark plug look like. Okay, right there, we pull it out. This is the spark plug. As you can see, the amount of space is ridiculous. Never been adjusted, never been replaced. So that means poor fuel economy. It won't be getting good mileage because it's not working right. It's not making enough powerful spark to ignite the fuel, which means using more fuel. So that's how you do it. Thank you guys for watching us. If you have any questions, let us know. Please don't forget to give us a like and subscribe for about 5 new videos every week.